Well, good afternoon, folks, and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman out here in the woods in the hills of Tennessee with a little shotgun that I picked up last summer for my grandson. This is a New England Firearms 20 gauge. It has a 3-inch magnum chamber with a factory full choke, and didn't pay much for the gun at all. I think by the time I was done it was right at $100, but I thought it would be a good little gun for him to kick around in the woods and maybe take it turkey hunting this year. So since it has a factory full choke on the barrel, I picked up some of these Apex turkey loads. This is an 1 5/8 ounce of number 9 shot, 1175 feet per second. It's a 3-inch magnum cartridge, and I've heard good things about this stuff. I just want to make sure that it'll perform for him if he does decide to go, and I'm pretty sure he wants to go. I had him out here yesterday practicing with that gun with just some high brass shells, and he did really good. I mean, he was patting them right in there in the center. I've got a turkey target here that I'm going to put up, about 30-35 yards or so, and we'll see how well this ammunition performs. So let's try it out. Okay, I got the target put up down there about 32 yards, 32 long paces from here. Let me go ahead and get zoomed in on that, and we'll see how well this little shotgun performs with this Apex ammunition. Okay, here we go. Well, folks, that's the Apex 20 gauge number 9 shot. Like I said, it's an 1 5/8 ounces of shot. And I gotta say, by taking my first shot of it, it's got a pretty good kick to it, almost like my 12 gauge. Well, let's take a look at the target here. This is at 32 yards with that little single shot, and as you can see, that's a dead turkey any day of the week. I mean, just a really nice pattern right there. I held right about here, so you know, the gun's hitting perfectly right in the head and neck area. Let's count up the pellets in the brain here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We'll count that one there too. 18, 17 to 18 just in the brain. And then it broke his neck 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times there, broke the neck bone. So realistically, he ought to be able to take a turkey with this out to 40 yards, you know. And this does not have a screw-in choke. This is just a factory choke from the way it was made when the gun was manufactured. Like I say, it's got a 3-inch chamber, and it handled that shell very well. Perfectly centered firing pin strike. Well, now some of you are probably thinking, is it okay to shoot TSS or heavy shot, tungsten type shot through a factory choke? Well, the concern is usually with a screw-in choke that's not rated for TSS or heavy shot, that eventually shooting those loads will erode the throat or the constriction of that choke, thereby damaging the choke. And honestly, I've never had a problem because I always try to use premium ammunition, and the wad that contains the shot acts as a buffer or a barrier between the shot and your barrel or your choke. And tungsten is harder than the steel that your gun barrel's made out of, and also certain turkey chokes. But I'm going to demonstrate here and show you there's a Magnum shotgun wad, and as you can see, it fits very tightly in that choke, but it holds together and encapsulates that entire shot charge so that the pellets are contained within that plastic, and the plastic is between the shot charge and your choke and or your barrel. Well, my friends, speaking of heavy shot loads, aside from these Apex turkey loads, I've got some of this heavy shot. This is also tungsten shot. This is an 1.25 ounces of number 6 shot in a 3-inch Magnum 20 gauge. And I'll open the package here and show you one of them. I've had these for a few years now. There it is. This is number 6 shot. We're going to put up another turkey target at 30 yards and see how well the little single shot 20 gauge will do at that distance with heavy shot number 6. So let me get the target put up and we'll take a quick shot with it. Alright, we got the target put up, and here I am. I'm zooming in on the target now. This is at 30 yards, folks. Here we go. All right, let me go grab that target. All right, here's the target that I just shot at 30 yards using that heavy shot number 6. And as you can see, there's several vital hits there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be enough to kill that turkey at that distance. Although, I gotta say that Apex TSS really did a number on that one at the same distance. So I would say that the TSS will give you probably another 10 yards or so more in terms of range. Although at 30 yards, you know, that's a dead turkey any day of the week using that heavy shot. I mean, remember, all it takes is one pellet through the brain and he's had a bad day. So, you know, the single shot 20 gauge with a factory full choke can serve you quite well as a hunter, and that's what this channel is about. Now, what about hunting other game besides turkeys? Well, there's rabbits, squirrel, all kinds of upland game such as grouse or pheasants. You know, most people probably wouldn't consider using a single shot like this, but if that's all that you can afford and that's all you have, it'll do quite well. You know, you can bring home the meat, so to speak. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put up this squirrel target here, and I've got some high brass number 4s that I loaded up a couple of years ago, and we'll see how well that it performs on small game like this. Because, you know, I like to squirrel hunt, but I very rarely ever use a shotgun anymore. I use a 22 rimfire or an air gun. But let's get this put up and we'll shoot it at 30 yards and see how well it performs for small game. Well guys, I said I was going to shoot this target at 30 yards, but being that we only have an ounce of shot and it's regular lead, I thought I'd get about 5 yards closer and take a shot at that squirrel target. There you can see a squirrel perched like he would be on a limb or on a log or something. Take a quick shot here and see what kind of pattern we get with this load. All right, let's go check it out. Well guys, I wanted to include this little bonus section in patterning those number 4 lead shot on a squirrel target, because here in Tennessee at the end of the turkey season, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency offers a spring squirrel season. And for those of you that like to use a shotgun, I thought I'd include this little bit of information so that you could see just how effective these little single shot shotguns can be. Here's the target that I shot at, and as you can see there's several hits right there in the vital zone. That would be a squirrel in the bag any day of the week. And I would say also that you could extend that range out to 30, maybe even 35 yards. You know, you got very little shot in the meat, and that's why I like to use a larger shot size. If I had been using, say, number 8 shot, you know, there would be double as many pellets, so I'd be picking a lot more lead out of the meat. And I wanted to include that. I know the main focus here is for turkey hunting because the season's right around the corner. It's already open in a lot of states, especially, you know, like in the southern states. But there's something that I noticed about these targets, and I wanted to include this bit of information before I let you go. Let me pan down to these 2 turkey targets that I shot at and show you what I'm talking about here. Now, as you can see, the target over here on the right was shot with this Apex TSS load, and that's a 1 5/8 ounce of number 9 shot, okay, of tungsten super shot. And no doubt about it, I mean, there's just a lot more pellets in the head region here. You know, I don't know how many hits there were in the brain. I think 17 right there, and then several more throughout the neck. But that's a great pattern right there. The core of the pattern's right there on his head. And that's what you want, you know, if you want to make a quick, ethical, humane kill on a wild turkey. Now, using this heavy shot, number 6, this has 1 1/4 ounces of shot, where this has 1 5/8 ounces of number 9 shot. But if you look at this target a little bit more closely, you can see that there is a large cluster of pellets here and down here. If that had been shifted over just a little bit, look how many more would have gone into the neck bone here and how many more would have gone into the brain. You know, even though that's a dead turkey for sure, I think I pulled a little bit on that, so the core of the pattern is more towards the left. So that's a good load, you know. And one good thing about it is the price. They're not nearly as expensive as the tungsten super shot, but you get a good pattern like that. And if you can zero your gun in where it shoots the core of this pattern just like this at 30 yards, you know, I think I can extend the range of this maybe another 10 yards or so and be able to harvest that turkey at 40 yards. This absolutely for sure, you know. And I'm really impressed with these. But I wanted to do this test because this is the gun that my grandson is going to be using for turkey hunting this year. And these guns are still available, by the way. I know they still make these little shotguns brand new. I just saw a 410 today with a 3-inch chamber and screw-in chokes. But I just bought this one last summer that had a 3-inch chamber with a factory full choke, and I thought it would serve quite well for him in the woods. And he loves this little gun. I mean, he shoots it better than I do, and I didn't have to give much for it. But you know, like I said, if it's just a single shot, it's not going to really matter that much because your first shot is the one that's really going to count. You know, if you have to do a quick follow-up shot, all you got to do is pop that open, put another one in, and you're ready to go again. So it's not really that slow in being able to repeat a second shot if you have to. And I have seen people do that before, by the way. So my friends, if you own one of these little shotguns, whether it's a 12 gauge, a 20 gauge, on rare occasion maybe a 16 gauge or even a 28 gauge, you know. I've seen these in 410. The newer models have 3-inch chambers, like I said, and they have screw-in chokes in all gauges. You know, don't feel handicapped in any way because you're very well equipped to go outdoors and bag whatever game that you're after. And with turkey season coming around, I really look forward to seeing my grandson use his 20 gauge shotgun, his first shotgun, to bag a turkey. Hopefully he can do that. And let me share a little story about that. When I first started turkey hunting, this years and years ago, this was back in 93 or 94, I didn't have a lot of money, you know, and all I could afford was a single shot 12 gauge. It was a Harrington Richardson that looked just like this one, only it was a little bit beefier, just a little bit larger. It had a factory full choke with a factory 3-inch chamber, just like this little 20 gauge. And it threw a great pattern. Back then I was using Federal number 5 copper plated shot in 2 ounces. 2 ounces of buffered copper plated shot. And I harvested my first turkey with it. It performed flawlessly. It kicked a lot, you know, quite a bit, but it did the job, got the job done. And that turkey came up after calling him for an hour, it seemed like. He finally came up between 2 trees, and I was able to level that old shotgun on him, and he was down for the count. Let me tell you, it did the job very admirably. And I wouldn't hesitate to use that gun again if I still had it. But you know, a lot of people put too much emphasis on the equipment like a shotgun. I wanted to bring this gun out here to show you what it's capable of using premium shells. And with today's modern ammunition, these old guns really, you know, they come back to life, and you can take them out in the woods and successfully harvest a turkey with them, you know. So like I said, don't feel at all like you're handicapped in any way. They're great hunting guns, and they're really tough and very reliable. So if you're just getting into turkey hunting, for example, and you have one of these on hand, you know, no matter what gauge it is, like I said, give it a try. I think you'll be well pleased. And that's the reason I brought this gun out here today, to show you what kind of patterns it can shoot at realistic ranges where you can expect to encounter game. So with that being said, let me close out the video by saying thanks a lot. I do appreciate you watching. Hopefully you gained some useful information and some practical information on top of that too. And remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, no matter what your outdoor pursuit happens to be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. But also remember this: hit that like button, smash the bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this one will be coming your way. So until next time, y'all take good care of yourselves and get out there and enjoy the great outdoors. God bless. I'll see you.